Well, I don't know about being inspirational and all, but.
Be right here.
Okay.
So, hi everybody. We're Scott and Phyliss Eckstein. Thank you for having us. Some of you may have read this back in March of 2019. Our boys, Jacob, who was 21, and Josh, who was 19, they decided to carpool to work. They were both working for Taylor Northwest. They were linemen. Pipe layers.
Pipe.
And
They were a pipe crew.
just losing my voice. They decided to start carpooling together to save gas money. And it was Joshua's turn to drive, and in Powell Butte, they hit black ice.
Out on Powell Butte Highway.
And we lost them that day. And so it really shook us up. And out at the Facebook data center, they do what they call a pass the hat when something happens to one of their members or family or somebody. And there's about 300 to 400 guys and gals at these events, and they literally take their hard hats, and guys are just reaching in their pockets for, you know, a $5, a $1, a 20, whatever. And a few days later, the president of Taylor Northwest came and delivered about $6,000 to us and said, you know, this is from our family to your family. And we didn't know what to do. And so we just stuck it in the safe. And then about 3 years later, we decided to match that $6,000. And we got with Oregon Community Foundation and started a scholarship for the CTE trades, because our son Jacob had gone to lineman school. That kind of helped him get in with Taylor Northwest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you continue because I'm losing my
Okay.
voice.
So, we decided that we wanted to help kids enter the CTE trades, the construction, technology type trades. And both our boys from the trades, I came from the trades. We totally support that. We feel like so many kids these days are going to college and spending an awful lot of money and still getting out and working at the coffee shop, right? So these kids made great money. This is Jake right here. Well, I like to tell everybody when he was 21 years old, he worked his butt off, but he made $70,000, okay? And we're so proud of
And he
him.
had a 401k and he
Benefits,
had health insurance.
everything else, yeah. So what we did is like Phil said, we got connected with Oregon Community Foundation and we matched the $6,000 personally. And then we kind of went out on our own and solicited donations. And I used to work for Pape, and I visited a lot of my customers and got quite a few donations, and we started building that fund up. And the way we set this up is it's a perpetual fund. So it's gonna live on forever, way past everybody else in this room. And so the first year we were able to accumulate enough money to give away one scholarship for $1,000. Doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it was a start. Our original goal when we did this, for some reason we just had in our head, we wanted to do 5 scholarships for $1,000, okay? Well, the second year we did this, we gave away 4 scholarships. I think they were $1,500, right?
But I want to just kind of break in. After about a year of us doing this on our own, we had some angels from Harcourts. Erica Davis reached out to us and said they loved our story. They really wanted to help. And so they jumped in, and their PR gal and all of them reached out to all their contacts, everybody they knew. We got on the news multiple times, and I call them our little angels that were sent to us, because we would not be where we're at without the help of the Harcourts ladies. They are definitely our angels and have really helped us out
Absolutely.
a lot. And so the applications are in, and we don't get to find out how many kids applied until the end of May. So we're all kind of waiting on pins and needles. Last year we had 4 applicants.
Yes.
So we're trying to get the word.
In the first year we had 2 applicants. Last year we had 4. This year, over the past year, we've done what we think's a pretty fair job of getting the information out to the students and the teachers and counselors and future center leaders at all the high schools in the Tri-County area, because we're giving scholarships to kids from Crook, Deschutes, and Jefferson County. We're supporting all of those. And this year, it looks like we're going to give away, I think, if we have enough applicants, and I'm sure that we will. In fact, we even did the trades fair up here in Redmond this year. Yeah, so we've got a lot of information out to the kids. We've spoke at a couple of the schools locally, and so we're expecting to have a pretty good supply of applicants this year. So, and we're on target this year. If we give away 5, they'll all be right about $1,700. So we continue to try and grow this fund so we can give away more. I mean, I think the next goal is to try and give away 5 scholarships at $2,500, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But it's just been a wonderful experience. This has just been an amazingly painful process, as you can only imagine. But losing these 2 boys, we just decided that we've lived in Central Oregon for close to 30 years, and these boys grew up here. Very outdoorsy, hunting, fishing, riding motorcycles, this type of stuff, and we want to give back to the community, and we want their name to live on forever. And it's really very rewarding for me to meet these kids that have applied and we've given scholarships to. They've all been very grateful. We've kept in contact with just about all of them, and we like seeing them grow. I really, really enjoy seeing young men and young women enter the trades, and we're here to help them because we really believe it.
And I just wanted to talk about after we got that money from the Pass the Hat, I had asked the gal out there who heads up their safety meetings. They do it once a month, and it's in this huge tent. All the guys and gals are eating lunch at that time, and there's really probably about 400 people in that tent. And I had asked Ann Fisher, could we come and speak to them and just say thank you for your money you donated and tell them what we did with it? And she's like, absolutely. So we went out there and thanked them, and I told them, I said, you know, until my sons became one of you, I had a really different opinion on these guys and gals that wore the bright orange and the bright yellow. I thought maybe they just weren't smart enough to like get a better job. You know, I had a completely different outlook. But then my kids became one of them. And I'll tell you, you want a hard worker, you call an Eckstein boy. And over time they would work, and they enjoyed their job. They liked working with their hands. There's no way they wanted to be in an office. And it really changed my mind. So now when I'm driving around and I see these guys in the bright orange and yellow, that's who my boys were. And I have a completely different respect for them. And you probably see on the news a lot now, they need trades workers. All the old guys and gals are retiring. They don't have people, they can't get them to even show up for work. So the trades are huge now, and we feel like, you know, we kind of got on board, right? God maybe put us here and did this to get us in this position to kind of help move this forward. So we appreciate your time, and I'm going to leave a few flyers here if you're interested, just to kind of read about our you know, some extra information. And then there's a few business cards that have QR codes to either donate, or if you know somebody interested in getting a scholarship to a trade school next year. Thank you guys so much.
Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit how you got involved with the Oregon Trust?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So what we did is neither one of us had gone to college, and we didn't really know what the process was, how to get a scholarship fund going. And so our first contact was a gentleman, Jeff Rankin, at Summit High School in Bend, where our boys graduated from school.
I called Jake's counselor and said, we're thinking about doing this, and she turned us on to Jeff Rankin.
Yeah, and so we had some conversations with Jeff, and he's the one that kind of turned us on to OCF. And then we met with the local Bend or Central Oregon director of OCF, and really liked what they had to say and liked the history of what they've done. They've given away billions of dollars over the last several decades, and they're there to support, you know, folks like us, just normal folks that want to create some kind of a scholarship fund. And they've done an amazing job, and they're very helpful, and we're very appreciative to have them. Did I answer your question?
Yes. How does that work? You give them the money, and what happens then?
Absolutely. So what we've got this fund set up. There's actually a QR code on the back of the card, and that takes you right to the link for Oregon Community Foundation, where you can fill out, you know, your donation if you desire to do that. But yeah, they manage all the money. Okay, we don't touch the money at all, and so at the end of every year, what they do is they send us a letter and tell us how much we have to distribute that year. What we have done is we've created a selection committee in our group now, which is it doesn't matter who they are, but we've got a selection committee.
Well, Eric is on it,
Eric,
and then we have Tim Johnson, who
he's on our advisory committee.
he's on our advisory committee, and we have another gal. It's very emotional for us to carry this forward. We can only do so much until we just kind of lose it emotionally. And so having backup with people that know so many people, they're in this industry, they have just been so helpful.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
helpful.
Yeah, so we have an advisory committee and a selection committee now, and what we do is we'll have access to all the applicants the middle of next month, and we'll download all those applications, and we'll go through them as a group, and we'll select the candidates that we feel we can be the most help to.
I mentioned that because a lot of times people will want to set up scholarships or leave a fund, and they try to manage the money themselves. And that sometimes doesn't turn out too well.
Right.
Going to the Oregon Community base there, they handle the money, they put it in the stocks, whatever.
They invest it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have that responsibility.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We don't have to deal with that at all. And all those donations are tax deductible.
I think you should talk about how the kids qualify.
Yeah, you know, when we set this up, it was up to Scott and I to name it, which is the Jake and Josh Eckstein Memorial Trade Scholarship Fund. So anytime you donate, that's where the check that has to be written out to that scholarship, and that's where it goes. And okay, now I just lost my
Their
train.
qualifications.
Oh, yeah. So when we first got involved, we were able to set up the parameters of the qualifications. And we wanted kids like our kids, you know, and our kids, they weren't fabulous high school students, but they were really hard workers. He worked since he was 14, and, you know, Jake was working, and so they were hard workers. And so we set the bar, the GPA.
Yeah, I think it's 1.9, I think. You know, we're not looking for rocket scientists here. We're just looking for kids that want to work, that want to get in the trades, that want to do that kind of stuff, right?
And then they have to, there's a series of questions, you know, what's important to you about giving back to your community?
Yeah. What have you done to prepare yourself for the future?
Right.
Those types of questions.
Yeah.
There's probably a half a dozen essay questions that the kids answer in the
Yeah,
application.
and it's interesting. We had one kid that the head of OCF said his application was better.
Best one they'd ever seen.
Better than some of the doctors that are trying to apply for med school.
His name was Owen Clark, and he's from Primeville. He had a welding class at Crook County High School, and he and his classmates, the big letters when you come into town on the sign that say Primeville, yeah, they did that.
Yeah.
So and his goal, you know, one of the things we liked about him is he was going to Treasure Valley Community College over in Ontario, and his goal was to become a professional welder, and then his second year he's taken all the admin and the business classes, and his goal is to come back, buy a piece of property in Tumalo, and open up a shop. That's what we're looking for. Those are the kind of people we want to help. We want to go out, get your education, come back to Central Oregon, and contribute to the community.
Yeah, and last year we had a couple kids going to community college for welding, one for electric. So, you know, those are the kids we're going for. And we just kind of tried to set the parameter on what our kids would qualify. And the other thing, I really, our kids went to Summit High School, and most kids are getting a BMW or a Mercedes when they turn 16. Our kids got a
$3,000 pickup
they
truck.
got a $3,000 pickup truck. And
All these kids would park in a certain area and they called it the Hick Strip,
the
right?
Hicks. But all their friends are in the trades now. Jake's best friend Rowan owns his own excavating business and builds all the houses out in Pronghorn. His friend Patrick lays carpet, has his own business.
Jordan.
Jordan is
Independent handyman.
independent contractor. So all these kids, that's who we're going for. And
There's a couple questions back here.
There's pride in what they do. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna ask, when you award whoever wins the scholarship, when you award it, do you give it to the child or to the?
Goes right to the school.
It
Yeah,
does.
we didn't want to do that because we didn't want it being spent inappropriately, so it goes right to the school for education.
And we did have, our first year, we did have 2 applicants, Owen and another gentleman, a young man, and we would have awarded him, but his school was not accredited.
So they have to go to an
accredited
accredited trade school.
Yeah.
How much is in the fund right now?
Okay, so I'll tell you that. I'm always hesitant to tell people that because I don't want people to get the impression, oh, there's all this money there, but you're only giving away so much. But understand it's a perpetual fund, right? We're giving away the growth of the fund, okay? We just gotta, so I'll tell you what it is. We just got an update the other day, and
We're pretty proud.
We're pretty
that we
proud.
went
We're
from
just-
12,000 to.
we're just a few dollars, less than $100 shy of having $250,000 in there. It's been amazing. And I will say a big part of that has been the help from
Yep.
Harcourt's. Yes.
It's been huge, and I think the community sees the need out there. A lot of the businesses are seeing the need to get these young kids in. We were on the news one day and had the manager of Building Solutions there speaking, and they were just wrapping up the end of the year numbers and stuff. And the 2 guys that had the most overtime that year were like the 64-year-old guys that just want to go home, but they don't have anybody to work. Kids show up or they don't even show up for work. There's not a lot of work ethic, so that's a problem, Yes.
So Kiwanis has an active scholarship program too, and although most of our applicants are going to community college or universities, our process is also open to those who are going to trade schools.
Oh, that's awesome.
But a question, so typically people in the trades are male. Are you getting female applicants?
We have not yet. Like I said, our first year we had 2 male applicants, and then last year we had 4 male applicants, and we're really looking forward to having a female applicant.
Scott went, I had pneumonia, but back in February, he went to Ridgeview to speak to the counselor there in the
Future Center.
Future Center. She has meetings, every couple months, and kids that who were interested in the trade, Scott came and talked about this, and there was a gal there who wants to go do HVAC, just like her dad, And then back in November, they have a trades fair out in Redmond at the fairgrounds, and they bus in from all over, Christmas Valley, Madras, Bend, Sun River, bus in a bunch of these kids, and they have a bunch of different opportunities there for the trades. And we had a booth there and gave away a bunch of stuff, and Scott would interact with the kids and say, hey, what do you plan on doing when you graduate? Well, I don't know. Have you thought about trade school? And so had quite a few girls show up too. So,
Yeah.
Is it, so not understanding the process to go to trade school, is there an opportunity for kids that have gone through like the first part and then go back for further education?
Our scholarship,
Limited to first-time students?
you can apply twice. You can apply for a second
And our
year.
first
Applicant
applicant,
did.
Owen from Prineville, he applied. We told him, you need to apply the next year, and he did.
Yeah.
And so you can apply twice.
Twice, yeah.
And the thing, ours has to go to an accredited school. When we set this up, we kind of didn't know exactly what we were getting into, but, you know, it can't go for tools and you're going into an apprenticeship program. It has to be an accredited school.
Got it.
Yeah.
Any final questions? All right.
Thank you.
so
I do wanna-
much for
this is-
having me.
For you here.
Thank you very much.
One for
Oh,
that.
appreciate that.
One for you.
Oh, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
And we'll take a little
Yeah.
picture here.
Okay.
I gotta be in it too.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
All right, here we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So real quick, I just want to point something out, this guy right here. So what you can't see, what's been cropped out of this picture, is he's holding a big snake by the tail that he found on the job site, and he was chasing his boss with it, who was deathly terrified of snakes. So you got to look at that smile on his face.
He's pretty happy with himself right there.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.